If someone has told you recently, you're so resilient, I'm so sorry. Resilient is not a label you receive after a long period of comfort and ease. When someone says you're so resilient, it's usually code for you've been going through hell. Despite the shiny depictions that we often see on social media, most of us have been through some sort of hell. Maybe you came in this morning because you're in the middle of it right now. If so, welcome. May you rest. You're not alone. In a life of mortals among mortals, a life where we, fallible humans, are just fully surrounded by other fallible humans, none of us is untouched by loss or by suffering. There is this Buddhist story about a woman whose beloved died. And she was so traumatized, so distraught by her beloved's death that she could not accept that he had died. She was convinced that he just needed some medicine in order to be revived. So she knocked on every single door in her village, asking if anyone had the medicine to bring her beloved back to life. Eventually, she came to the door of the Buddha, and she begged him for help. She said, "Please, my beloved is out of it. He's asleep. He's passed out. I just need some medicine, just the right medicine, and I know he will come back to me." The Buddha could see what was happening. He saw her beloved who was dead. He saw her grief and her denial, and he said, "Yes, I can help you." The Buddha told the woman that he would be able to revive her beloved if she could bring him a mustard seed. And at first the woman was thrilled. Okay, yes, I can do that. Mustard seeds, they're very common. I'm going to go find one right now. It's all good. But the Buddha hadn't finished his sentence yet. He said, "Bring me a mustard seed from a home in this village that has not been touched by death." Okay, the woman was still convinced that she could do it, and so she went from house to house in the village, knocking on doors, looking for a mustard seed. And yet at every home that she came to, while they had mustard seeds, she also had to ask them if any of their loved ones had died. And over again, she heard her neighbors' stories, their stories of loss and grief. She heard their stories and she connected with them, but she could not find a mustard seed from a home where no one had been touched by death. She returned to the Buddha bewildered. She did not have that mustard seed that would bring her beloved back to life, and yet when she returned, she felt better. She felt newly connected to other people. Before she had gone knocking on her neighbor's doors, she was alone in her grief. And even though her loss was not gone, now she was held in that loss by her community. There's a tree that is living in the Bahrainian desert. It's 30 feet tall, and it's wide, and it has lush green leaves that make shade in a desert. It's been living there for 400 years. It stands alone amidst the cracked sand and the thirsty beans, and in the shade of that beautiful Bahrainian tree, you can look for miles in every direction and not see another living tree. The desert where this tree has lived for more than 400 years, it gets less than 150 millimeters of rain per year. For reference, that's less rain than we get here in 1 month. And it's way, way less rain than a tree needs to live. And the nearest water source is miles and miles away from the place where it is standing. Some of the locals say that this tree is the last survivor of the Garden of Eden. Other locals say that it is protected by the Babylonian god Enki. Still others say that it sucks water from the sand itself, finding sweet nectar in the rocks. They all call it the tree of life. Now, most plants that live in the desert, they survive by conserving their water. But the tree of life is a gaff tree, which has a very different survival strategy. Gaff trees are known for their powerful taproot, a deep, deep root system that seeks ancient sources of water deep in the earth. Scientists believe that the tree of life has a root system that goes down more than 150 feet. This is a tree that's only 30 feet tall. The root system goes down more than 150 feet. That's more than 15 stories. And there it taps into an ancient water source that is deeper than the human beings have dug. Sometimes going door to door, knocking for a mustard seed of faith, does not yield results. But even in the dustiest of deserts where there is no rainfall to be found and the nearest river is miles away, there is still living water deep, deep, deep in the earth. Sometimes community can feel really far away, and then gentle mists of human connection are running dry. And yet even there, in that place of drought, there is still water. With deep spiritual practice, with breath that drops you down into the wholeness of being, you can go deeper than the soul self and drop into the divine and come up into the larger love that connects all that is. It's larger than any human being. It encompasses the whole. To be honest with you, in my worst moments, I can't drink rainwater. In the bad moments, yes, I can reach out into my community, connect with other human beings, but when I am in the desert of despair, for some reason, probably my childhood, I don't trust the rain around me. I have to go and sit on the ground and tap into the root, tap into the source of water, find the closeness with the divine that brings me up into all that is. There is a well of resilience. There are deep, deep and mysterious reserves of life that are available to you no matter what desert you are in, no matter the weather around you. My sister texted me this week to tell me how grateful she is for this first glorious fake spring that we are in right now. And we know it's a spring of deception. We've lived here long enough to know that even in this climate-changed early arrival of the first wave of spring, winter's punch will return, probably a few times, sorry to say it. But this gasp of air that we're in, this rush of bird song, this water in the desert, sun in the ice. It matters. Take a moment. Enjoy it. Drink it in. Let the sun touch your skin. Celebrate every single win. In this moment, we must nourish ourselves for the journey. We are not through hell yet. I am so sorry to say, but it is good to have a very brief respite to fuel the next leg of our movement forward. A young woman named Bhakti Sharma from Rajasthan, India, holds a number of world records for open water swimming, including the longest swim in the Antarctic Ocean. Bhakti Sharma swam through that freezing water, pushing away ice. In just a swimsuit and goggles. Now, in Rajasthan, where Bhakti Sharma is from, it does not even snow. The lows in the winters are in the 50s. And so Bhakti prepared herself for this freezing swim in the cold. And she remembers those first few minutes of swimming, when the ice and the freezing water was so shocking to her system. But even worse than that in her experience was the density of the water. It was so cold, it was thick. Every stroke, she said, felt like I was pulling through oil. The most dangerous part of her swim, though, according to her, was her own thoughts. In swimming, Bhakti explained, you cannot hear, you can't talk, and you can only see what is right in front of you. So the sound of your own mind is loud. It's loud. When Bhakti swam across the English Channel in 13 hours and 55 minutes, she got stuck in hour 10. She had been making progress, swimming across the English Channel for 10 hours, and then she got stuck in the same place for an hour and a half. In that stuck place, in the fear place, the most dangerous demons for Bhakti were not the current or the cold, but the voices in her head telling her she's not good enough. She's not strong enough. She hasn't practiced enough. She should just give up. That internal battle, the one in her own mind, was where she would win or lose her struggle. So Bhakti learned over the years of open swimming how to sort through her internal thoughts and focus on the voice that says, just one more stroke. You can do it, just one more stroke. When she's swimming through the Antarctic Ocean or across the English Channel, she connects with the voice in her head that gives her courage. In the English Channel, she particularly found strength through connecting with the positive parts of her identity. She's a proud daughter. She's a strong woman. She's a proud Indian. She's swimming for her people. In the Antarctic Ocean, though, Bhakti considered giving up much sooner. Not after 10 hours, but after 10 minutes. In that place, in the place of freezing water and ice, she had to focus on the voice that said, just one more stroke. She could not imagine the whole 45 minutes ahead of her in that freezing, ice-filled oil water. But she could take one more stroke, and then she could take another, and then another. And then a penguin swam up next to her, and she said, "Oh, look, a penguin is here cheering you on." And she connected with another being, one that's made for the Antarctic Ocean. And she didn't feel alone any longer. And then she looked up and she saw her crew next to her on the boat, cheering her on, and she drew strength from them. One more stroke, and then another and another. And 41 minutes later, she secured the world record for the longest Antarctic swim. The hell that we are going through right now, collectively, and whatever you are going through individually, is not necessarily something we can choose. We are not in control of this freezing swim through oil. We cannot determine when or if it might rain in the desert. Morning is coming, though. And in this liminal space between hell and the other side, we can do what we can. We can choose to take one more stroke, one more step, one more movement towards the holy and the whole. Stopping is not an option, or at least it's not a good one. It would freeze us here in hell, keep us stuck in our 10 in the hallway between where we've been and where we're going. So no, let's not stop. Let's just keep swimming. One more stroke. And if we need to, if we can't trust the desert mist, we can drop down into the taproot and drink from the water that always lies beneath the desert. And if we can trust, we can reach out wide and connect with community. We can knock on every door and listen to every story in the village until we feel connected again. I promise you, you're not alone. We are not alone, and we're going to get through this together, one step, one stroke, one movement forward at a time. Amen.